All right, so we started noticing verbs. Let's underline the ones that start with verbs, just for kind of consistency. We've got developing, pursuing, returning, contemplating. This one is a verb, but that's not how it's being used, right?
No.
Researching and writing, recognizing, framing, building, identifying. Look at that. Oh, upcoming challenges.
In all of them, except for the ones that I was trying to signify, I'm going to be talking about learning preferences and temperament.
Oh, so these ones that don't have verbs, you were already noticing what's in common is they're all about learning preferences? Is that what you just said?
Yeah, the ones that don't start with
These three.
Yeah.
These all hit learning preferences.
Yeah. Well, and that one of the temperament and personality on the top too.
Okay. Oh.
Well, yeah. So learning,
which also didn't have. Okay. So why don't I go like this?
But also like specifics about my personality.
Okay, wait, hang on. So the ones that were. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. These are all around learning preferences and personality. You said?
Yes, and temperament.
Okay.
So like very specifics, and then the other ones were applying those things to.
Applying what things?
My preferences and personality and.
To what?
To
Oh.
classes or to
Okay.
higher education or to graduate school in general.
Okay, let me see if I get this, because I think I do. The ones in green for you are places in which you're defining yourself.
Yeah.
Who you are and how you learn. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to write this down, because I won't remember this once I get farther in this. Okay. Defining self, who you are, or who I am, and how I learn, or how I like to learn. Okay. The purple ones, however, are examples that illustrate who I am and how I learn. So the purple one, I'm going to ask you to break this down now, because now, if you notice this, you actually have two categories here. Who I am is kind of one, and how I like to learn is a second one. Would you say they can be separated, or are they completely interconnected?
Yeah, I think I originally had them separated, and then it made it really messy.
Okay, so out of the purple ones, would you say all the purple ones answer both of the questions, who I am and how I like to learn? Or do some of them focus on the who I am and some on how I learn?
There are some that focus on who I am, and there are some that
Okay. Right, so these are examples that illustrate. Okay. So they're kind of your applied. They're kind of your applied analysis. It's your application, right? It's your analysis. All right, so one of the things I hope you can see when you look at this is that as a reader, these aren't really connected in the way that would help me see that trajectory. As a reader, it probably helped me to see more of defining who you are and how you like to learn, and then kind of going to the analysis. Or, since you said some of the examples are about one or the other, my next question would be, are they organized in a way that is consistent? Like, I'm going to go to orange here. Developing an attitude towards education. Is that about defining self and how I learn, or just one? Okay, so that one's... Is it about defining who you are, though?
Yeah.
Or is it something else
It is,
completely?
but not in terms of my learning.
Okay, so it's just self.
Yeah.
Okay. Pursuing higher education, would that be just self or self and learning? You guys see how this is going to work? Mm-hmm.
A little bit of both.
Okay.
Mostly self, but a little bit of both.
Mhm. Mostly self. Okay. How about returning to school? Is that just self? Or is that self and, or maybe just give us one kind of along the way that's a good example of how I like to learn primarily.
I integrated it into them. So like the first two, the developing and pursuing are kind of like this setting up my story.
Okay.
And then the temperament and personality is like, the according to all these, personality assessments, this is the kind of person I am, and this is my temperament and my personality, and then here's how it showed up in undergraduate school.
Okay, so let me ask you this. If we were to divide this, would you say that the temperament and personality, that these go like this, and that the ones below it went to the next? Like, is it set up like this? No?
The bottom part kind of is, but the top part isn't.
So you see where I'm going? It makes you think about it, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to erase those. So the question becomes, how are you organizing it, right? I can see the setting up the story here, and then I could see saying, all right, I'm going to use like the green category as like a, basically what happens is it becomes the primary heading, and those examples, they're not really subheadings so much as they are your analysis paragraphs, right? That kind of help elaborate on that argument you're making in the green one, if that's how you're doing it.
I don't know that I actually even need that contemplating my options title. I kind of.
So I'm just going to put a big circle around it, and you can kind of go, you're going to go like, I don't even know if I need this. So is it part of returning to school?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I had originally given it its own like title because this was my like big
Okay.
vent piece that I tried to
Right.
vent.
Get the vent out. So are there any other categories here that don't belong now that you're looking at it?
I think some of the ones on the bottom,
Mm-hmm.
like the building and framing, like I have a category for each class, which
Mm-hmm. Ah.
I don't know.
So these are set up around classes.
Yeah.
Building is,
Um,
framing is that what you're saying? What about identifying
all of
ideologies?
research and writing all the way down to.
So these were basically.
Those are all of the core classes.
Oh, okay. So these are about core classes. All right. So then would you say the ones above, the developing an attitude, oh wait, let me go back. Oh, I see. Okay, these are core classes as examples. So would you say that you use the green, that you use the self-assessment, like the DAPS, the VARC, and the Feldman personality stuff, those are all the green things? And then you tied the courses into all the green things?
Yeah.
And then from each course, you talked about things within the course, like readings, activities, and different things?
Mostly I mostly talked about what worked for me and what didn't, and how that relates to my learning preferences and my personality, my temperament. The only one that I really talked much about, like specifics, like what we read, like other than like this was the general theme of what we worked on, was the capstone, because everything else honestly was so long ago.
Yeah, okay.
I don't remember.
So readings pretty much showed up just for the capstone.
Yeah, and the like